In the summer of 1945, the military's top target for humanity's most destructive weapon wasn't Hiroshima. It was Kyoto, Japan's ancient capital, home to over 1 million people, thousands of historic shrines, and centuries of priceless cultural history. High-ranking American military commanders wanted it wiped off the map. They viewed it as the ultimate psychological target to shatter the Japanese will to resist. Yet, as history recorded, Kyoto remained standing. Instead, on August 6, 1945, a solitary B-29 bomber named the Enola Gay opened its bay doors over the industrial city of Hiroshima, releasing a single weapon that altered the course of human existence in a fraction of a second. How did a personal intervention erase Kyoto from the atomic target list with a single stroke of a pen? Why was Hiroshima selected to bear the brunt of the dawn of the nuclear age? To understand the fate of these two cities, we must step inside the secret, smoke-filled rooms of the Target Committee in the spring of 1945. In late April 1945, as Allied forces closed in on Nazi Germany, a top-secret group known as the Target Committee assembled at Los Alamos, New Mexico. Led by General Leslie Groves, the administrative director of the Manhattan Project, and theoretical physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the committee's objective was stark: select a short list of Japanese urban centers for the deployment of the newly developed atomic bomb. The committee established strict military criteria for their selection. First, the candidate target had to be a large, densely populated urban area where the blast wave could maximize physical destruction. Second, the target had to possess significant military or industrial value, such as command headquarters, munitions factories, or major logistics hubs. Third, and perhaps most disturbingly, the target had to be largely untouched by conventional American firebombing campaigns. By mid-1945, Major General Curtis LeMay's 21 Bomber Command had executed a ruthless campaign of incendiary night raids across mainland Japan. Dozens of Japanese cities had already been burned to the ground. Millions were homeless, and major industrial centers lay in ashes. However, military strategists intentionally placed a small group of cities on a reserved list. These cities were spared from conventional firebombing for a singular, chilling purpose. American scientists and military analysts needed an undamaged canvas. They required a pristine urban area so that post-detonation surveys could measure the exact physical force, blast radius, and radiation yield of the atomic weapon without interference from previous destruction. At the very top of this initial target list stood Kyoto. Kyoto was deemed an ideal target by military planners. It was a major urban area with a population exceeding 1 million people. As a former imperial capital, it held immense historical, religious, and political significance for the Japanese population. Military strategists argued that destroying Kyoto would deliver a psychological shockwave so severe that it would force Japan's military council into immediate, unconditional surrender. Furthermore, Kyoto possessed significant war manufacturing infrastructure, railway yards, and military installations on its outskirts. From a purely logistical standpoint, General Leslie Groves viewed Kyoto as the premier target. He believed its destruction would prove the absolute power of the new weapon to both the Japanese Empire and the rest of the post-war world. By May 1945, Kyoto sat squarely in the crosshairs of history. Its fate appeared all but sealed. Enter Henry L. Stimson, the 77-year-old U.S. Secretary of War. Stimson was a veteran statesman who oversaw the entirety of the Manhattan Project. When General Groves presented the finalized target list to Stimson in late May 1945, with Kyoto positioned firmly at the top, Stimson immediately objected. Stimson had spent considerable time in Japan during his previous tenure as Governor General of the Philippines in the late 1920s. During his travels, he had visited Kyoto multiple times. Popular history often claims that Stimson saved Kyoto because he had enjoyed his honeymoon there decades earlier with his wife, Mabel. While historians continue to debate the influence of his personal vacations, official records reveal a deeper, long-term strategic calculation. Stimson recognized that Kyoto was not merely a city, it was the cultural heart of Japanese civilization. It served as the custodian of Japan's heritage, housing thousands of Buddhist temples, Shinto shrines, and irreplaceable artistic treasures. Stimson argued passionately to General Groves and President Harry S. Truman that obliterating Japan's cultural capital would commit a cultural atrocity that the Japanese people would never forgive. He insisted that destroying Kyoto would generate such deep-seated, long-term bitterness that it would make the post-war occupation and governance of Japan nearly impossible, potentially driving the nation into the arms of the Soviet Union. General Groves pushed back repeatedly. He maintained that Kyoto was a legitimate military target, and that failing to strike it would diminish the psychological impact of the atomic weapon. But Stimson stood firm. He took the issue directly to President Truman at the White House. In late July 1945, while attending the Potsdam Conference in Germany, Truman backed his Secretary of War. Kyoto was officially removed from the strike list. Kyoto was saved, but its removal from the target list meant another Japanese city would have to take its place. With Kyoto removed, military attention turned sharply toward the remaining candidates on the restricted target list: Hiroshima, Kokura, Niigata, and eventually Nagasaki. Among these, Hiroshima quickly emerged as the primary target for the first operational atomic strike. Why Hiroshima? The answer lay in a combination of geographical layout, military presence, and psychological targeting strategy. First, Hiroshima was a city of paramount military significance. It served as the headquarters of the Japanese Second General Army, commanded by Field Marshal Shunroku Hata. This military body was responsible for the defense of the entire southern half of Japan, the exact region where Allied forces were planning to launch Operation Downfall, the massive amphibious invasion scheduled for late 1945. The city was also a major logistics hub, acting as an embarkation port for troops heading overseas, a communications center, and a critical supply depot storing massive amounts of military equipment. Second, Hiroshima's unique physical geography matched the brutal testing parameters set by American weapons scientists. Hiroshima was largely built on a flat, low-lying delta created by the Ota River. The surrounding hills acted as a natural amphitheater, which scientists calculated would focus and reflect the blast energy inward, maximizing the total destructive shockwave across the central urban core. Third, unlike Tokyo, Osaka, or Yokohama, Hiroshima had remained virtually untouched by Allied bombers throughout the war. Out of the entire region, its infrastructure was still intact, making it the perfect visual demonstration site for the destructive capability of the uranium-based bomb known as Little Boy. By early August 1945, all parameters had aligned: geography, military utility, weather forecasts, and historical coincidence. On the morning of August 6, 1945, 3 B-29 aircraft approached Hiroshima under clear skies. At 8:15 a.m. local time, the Enola Gay released Little Boy. 43 seconds later, the bomb detonated in a blinding flash of light approximately 1,900 feet above the Shima Surgical Clinic, generating temperatures exceeding 6,000 degrees Celsius at the epicenter. An estimated 70,000 to 80,000 people, roughly 30% of Hiroshima's population at the time, were killed instantly. Tens of thousands more would perish in the following weeks and months from severe burn injuries and acute radiation syndrome. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second plutonium bomb, Fat Man, was dropped on Nagasaki after the primary target of Kokura was obscured by heavy smoke and cloud cover. On August 15th, Emperor Hirohito broadcast his nation's surrender, bringing World War II to an end. The story of why Kyoto was saved and Hiroshima was chosen remains one of the most sobering chapters in modern history. It illustrates how the fate of millions of human lives and centuries of cultural heritage hinged on political debates, geographical features, and personal interventions in the final hours of a global war. Kyoto survived to remain a living testament to ancient history. Hiroshima rose from its ashes to become a global symbol of peace and nuclear abolition. The legacy of these decisions serves as a permanent reminder of the terrifying power of nuclear weapons and the delicate line between salvation and total destruction.